everybody. Welcome to this edition of Turnaround Marriage, and it is a beautiful day. You need to move that, sweetheart. It's a beautiful day, so we thought we would do this live and outside, and we hope you're doing well today. We want to talk about a subject that is near and dear to our hearts because we see a lot of people suffering in silence. And if you're out there today and you realize that in your marriage that there has been either infidelity or unfaithfulness, a breach of trust, and you have tried to navigate those challenges and you feel like you've tried to forgive, yet you know in the back of your heart, the back of your mind, that things are not what they should be, then this is exactly the place you need to be today.
Yes, we're going to be talking about that cheap forgiveness. It could be ruining your marriage. We are Scott and Rachel. We help committed Christian couples finally end cycles of conflict and negativity and reclaim the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. So if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let us know you're watching. Say hello. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that bell and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content to encourage your Christian marriage. And go ahead and share and comment as well. We'd love to hear from you, what questions you have regarding unfaithfulness. And guys, we've talked to hundreds and hundreds of couples, and we've helped so many of them navigate challenges. Many of them, a big challenge has been infidelity, unfaithfulness, a lack of trust in the marriage where there's not been honesty and there has been this desire to sort of fix it on your own. Mm-hmm. And we've seen it over and over again where forgiveness is offered, but it's sort of what we call cheap forgiveness, where it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I made a mistake. And we kind of don't totally own it. And the person who has been sinned against sorely, they're not quite sure how to navigate the feelings. They've tried to figure out how to navigate this. They want to talk about it with their spouse, how it's been hurt, how they've been personally hurt. And the offending spouse has sort of just been like, well, I asked for forgiveness. Why do you have to keep bringing it up? Why do we have to keep reliving this? And this cheap forgiveness, guess what it leads to? It leads to another breach of trust. It leads to when we're not uprooting the actual problem underneath of what led to this, we see it happen again and again. And sometimes we talk to couples, they've been through 2, 3 affairs, and the same mistakes keep happening because they're doing this DIY of trying to heal their marriage and give this cheap forgiveness, which just doesn't work.
Yeah, and most people would not think of it as cheap forgiveness.
Right.
For them, they're honorable people, and they know that they have been forgiven of much, and they know that the right thing to do is to forgive, right? And we hear this all the time. It's a theme. And it's not like they're intentionally thinking, well, I'm just going to just say I'm sorry or I forgive them, and then we can just move on. It is like they know deep within that that's what the calling is for a Christian, and they'll say that they're forgiven the other person, or they've tried to really believe that they forgive the other person. But that in itself does not actually mean that you have either found true forgiveness, or 2, that the other person has really owned their mistakes and sins, or 3, that you've been able to navigate those challenges and get to the root cause of a lot of those things. Yeah. And really you're offering something that is a counterfeit. It's not really true forgiveness unless you deal with what got you there. How did you get to that place?
Yeah, it's so true, Scott. And the heartbreaking truth is that it always takes 2 to tango. And, when the person who has been sinned against just wants to point the fingers and blame, which there's so much blame to go around when somebody steps outside the marriage and they're unfaithful to their spouse and they break those marital vows. And at the same time, there's always an underlying reason. There's always some blame to go around both ways. But when we can't truly be honest with how we're feeling, when we can't really be honest about what we're thinking, and we just kind of sweep things under the rug and say, well, we try to put it behind us. Well, we just want to move forward. Well, we just want to kind of move on and not look back. And it's like, if we don't look back, we're going to repeat those same mistakes again and again. And it's not that we need to just rehash it, but we do have to learn a completely new skill set of being able to communicate what we need, how we feel, what we're thinking, and for there to be an okay space to be able to navigate hard feelings. Yeah. And to be able to say, I was deeply, deeply wounded and I felt so betrayed. And for the other person to be able to sit there with that and be okay with the discomfort. Because honestly, that forgiveness can only come out of being wrought with that deep pain of what you have caused, how you have contributed And that goes both ways, how each of you has contributed to the marriage falling apart. Because, guys, if you don't get some help and if you don't get to that root cause and that root problem, 99% of the time we see the same patterns repeat. Well, I stepped out of the marriage again. Well, it happened again. Well, I made another mistake, and we call it a mistake and we minimize the atrocity of it, and trying to think, well, we're just doing the right thing by let's just hurry up and forgive and let's move on.
Right.
And guys, if we're not getting underneath to that root, this could be ruining your marriage. You could be setting yourself up to repeat this again and again and again.
Yeah. And we shared a quote that was really good on our Facebook page and Instagram a few days ago. And it was a quote by C.S. Lewis. And he nails this. He says, the monstrosity of sexual intercourse outside of marriage is that those who indulge in it are trying to isolate one kind of union, the sexual, from all the other kinds of union which were intended to go along with it and make up the total union of marriage. And really, when we're talking about sexual infidelity, it is like the closest place of oneness, of connection, of intimacy that has been broken. And that's a significant deal. And so just to say that you're sorry for that, you can't just simply move on and without really getting to the underlying issue, because really the heart of the matter is that you have not functioned in closeness the way it was designed. And whether you're talking about full-on sexual affair or a one-night stand, or you're talking about pornography, or you're talking about emotional affairs, or you're talking about breaking trust with lies, whatever it would be, every single one of those to a varying degree is breaking of trust. It's a breaking of the covenant vow that you took before God and other people. And so this is a significant thing. Yes, there's healing for it. Yes, you can get through it. But the answer is not to brush past it and get through it real quick and just say, I'm sorry, you're sorry, everybody's sorry. And it was because we weren't fighting and because we weren't getting along, and trying to identify all these little reasons that do not sum up a real breaking of that trust. You have got to get to the core issues. And quite frankly, if you're talking about, well, she was mean to me, and you're talking about some of the smaller aspects of where things were not working in the marriage, you're really not dealing with the core problems. You're really not getting to the heart of it, that you have not been functioning as a team. You've not been functioning in intimacy the way God has designed marriage to be. And of course, it's going to lead to all kinds of breaking of trust, all kinds of even perversions when we don't have this right. So getting this right, as well as finding true healing, true forgiveness at the exact same time, is what is necessary.
Yeah, it's so good, Scott. And yeah, oneness is really the heart of it, right?
Yeah.
Oneness in a marriage. That's, God designed us so that the two would become one flesh. And when there's that breaking of oneness, it's a deep wound that does take time to heal. And it does take working through and processing it. And it does take a completely new skill set of communication, of resolving conflict, of building trust, of building intimacy again at the emotional level, the spiritual level, the sexual level, all those ways. And so that's where you really need someone to come alongside you and help walk you through that. And so what we have to offer you guys is we offer a complimentary breakthrough call where we'll get on the phone and help you guys get to the root of what hasn't been working in your marriage. And if that's been infidelity, again, there's no judgment on our phone, but we offer to stand strong as your advocate to help you fight for your marriage, but also bring you to the truth of what went wrong and how can we fix it. And we help create a strategy to get you on the path of healing. And so if that's what you're looking for, we want to encourage you to go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call and go ahead and book that call. Pick the very best time that fits for your spouse and for yourself. If both of you are willing to put in the work on your marriage, and if there's only one of you, and if one of you has been sinned against by your spouse and they're refusing to get help, but you want to stay committed to your vows, we want to encourage you, go ahead and still book that call for yourself. There's healing for you available. And so you can go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call, pick that best time, go ahead and block it out in your calendar, set yourself up a reminder so you do not forget. We will call you from our 423 number and we will serve you to the truth and offer you that strategy and that path out of the pain and toward real forgiveness and real healing, not this cheap, quick forgiveness where we just brush things under the rug, but give you guys the tools to be able to navigate the hard things and those hard feelings.
And here is the and thank you for sharing that, Rachel. You're so right. I would just add, for a lot of people, and for those of you that have been, for lack of a better term, harmed, we believe that when the marriage is not working well, there's harm to go around. But for lack of a better term, if your spouse is the one that is cheated, and you are feeling like you've tried to be honorable and you've tried to express forgiveness and tried to do what you're supposed to do, it can be a real lonely place when you know in your heart of hearts that things are not right. When you know you're going to, in the back of your mind, wondering, but is he thinking about that other woman still? And you're going back into your mind, am I still man enough for her?
Mm.
If these are the tapes that are running through your mind, it means that this is not right. And this is a lonely place to be. And we've found a lot of times people cannot express these feelings because this is what they're supposed to do. And they can't even tell some of their, loved ones about that. And so they have to stay in almost some shame because they feel like they're not measuring up to forgive truly, but they're saying that they are, but they know deep within there's a lot of junk that's in their hearts and it feels yuck. And this can look like nervousness. It can look like anxiety. It can look like all kinds of physical ailments and symptoms. And so, guys, we just want to implore you that cheap grace is not the answer. At the bare minimum, you've got to be talking to your pastor. You've got to be, really talking through some of those issues. But we have found that most times when couples just talk through it, the two of them, they stay stuck. And it is only oftentimes just cheap forgiveness that they're really offering. They don't intend that. That is just what happens. So I would just second what you've said, Rachel, that they should really book that call at turnaroundmarriage.com/call.
Yeah, because staying in a place of unforgiveness, staying in a place of pain, staying in a place of a lack of healing and of that shame and guilt and humiliation on both sides is no place to live. That's no way to honor God. There's healing, there's hope available, and that's why we offer that complimentary breakthrough call. So go ahead and go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call. We'll talk to you guys real soon.
Have a great day.
God bless you.